Welcome to our deep dive,
Yeah.
into the life and times of Genghis Khan.
Oh, yeah.
Today we'll be exploring, excerpts from a scholarly article about this, iconic figure,
Right.
separating fact from fiction, and hopefully uncovering some surprises along the way.
Yeah.
So,
Genghis Khan's empire, it
yeah,
spanned, from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Eastern Europe.
huge.
But getting a clear picture of the man himself, it
Yeah,
isn't easy.
right.
We have to rely on various sources,
Yeah,
each with its own biases and limitations.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the most intriguing sources, I think, is Secret History of the Mongols.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is this text so valuable to historians?
Well, unlike official histories, the secret history doesn't shy away from Genghis Khan's flaws,
Oh, interesting.
even those considered taboo.
Right.
It provides glimpses into his personality, his fears, and his motivations,
Yeah,
painting a more human portrait.
I see.
For example, it suggests he may have had a phobia of dogs, which is quite a contrast to the image of a fearless warrior.
Wow.
Um,
That's fascinating. It reminds us that even the most legendary figures,
yeah.
have unexpected vulnerabilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about?
Another challenge we face is determining his birth year.
Hmm.
While most historians agree on 1162,
Okay.
even Genghis Khan himself may not have been entirely certain.
Oh, wow.
And then there's the legend of
Yeah.
him being born clutching a blood clot in his hand.
Oh, wow.
It's a powerful image in Asian folklore,
Yeah,
often symbolizing a warrior's destiny.
I see.
Um,
So even from birth, there were whispers of a remarkable future,
Absolutely.
but his early life was anything but privileged.
Oh, yeah. Imagine being abandoned by your own tribe as a child and having to fight for survival.
Ooh. Wow.
These hardships undoubtedly shaped Genghis Khan's character, instilling in him a fierce sense of loyalty
Right.
to those who stood by him and an unwavering determination to overcome any obstacle.
Wow.
Uh,
That's like a real-life hero's origin story, right?
yeah.
Forging his resilience and resourcefulness
Yeah.
and navigating the complex web of alliances and rivalries on the Mongolian steppe must have been incredibly challenging.
Absolutely. The steppe was a chaotic place.
Yeah.
And Genghis Khan,
Yeah.
then known as Temujin, had to be shrewd.
Right.
He formed alliances with figures like Jamukha and Togrul,
Okay.
but those relationships didn't always last.
Oh, so his alliance with Genghis, his blood brother, ultimately dissolved into a bitter rivalry.
Right.
What could we learn from this conflict?
It reveals a lot about Genghis Khan's leadership style.
Okay.
He was strategic and understood the importance of consolidating power.
Right.
Their rivalry culminated in a battle where Genghis Khan emerged victorious,
Yeah.
but he showed no mercy towards his former friend,
Oh,
sending a clear message:
right.
betrayal would not be tolerated.
That's a powerful statement.
Um,
So this demonstrates his ruthlessness,
yeah.
but his rise to power wasn't solely based on brute force.
Right.
He was also adept at forging alliances and rewarding loyalty.
Right.
The Belgiuna Covenant, for example, seems like a pivotal moment.
The Belgiuna Covenant was a radical departure
Oh.
from traditional tribal structures.
Hmm.
Individuals from diverse backgrounds swore allegiance to Temujin,
Yeah.
highlighting the foundation of his future empire.
Wow.
He was creating a new social order
I see.
based on merit and loyalty,
Yeah.
not just tribal ties.
So by 1206, he'd transitioned from a young man fighting for survival to the undisputed leader of the Mongols,
Exactly.
taking the title Genghis Khan. What does this title signify?
Well, the meaning of the title itself is debated.
Okay.
Some believe it translates to universal ruler.
Okay.
Others connect it to strength and firmness. Whatever its precise meaning.
Yeah.
It marked a turning point.
Yeah.
He was no longer just a tribal leader.
Right.
He was the Khan,
The Khan.
with a vision that extended far beyond the Mongolian steppe.
So to achieve that vision, he knew he needed to restructure Mongol society.
Right.
His reforms were quite groundbreaking for the time.
Absolutely. He introduced the decimal system to organize his army,
Wow.
established his elite Keshig bodyguard,
Okay.
and essentially dismantled tribal affiliations in favor of loyalty to him.
I see.
These reforms were revolutionary,
Yeah.
transforming a nomadic society into a powerful, unified force capable of waging war on an unprecedented scale.
It seems he was building a modern state, centuries ahead of his time,
Right.
fostering a meritocratic system that allowed talented individuals,
Yeah.
like Subutai and Jabi, to rise through the ranks.
Exactly.
And now Genghis Khan set his sights on China.
He did.
His first target was the Western Shia kingdom,
Right.
and this campaign reveals another dimension of his personality,
Oh, yeah.
his patience,
Right.
and eventually his lack thereof.
It seems he initially attempted diplomacy,
Okay.
accepting tribute and a peace treaty.
Right, so an attempt to, be reasonable.
Exactly.
But the Western Shia's actions ultimately forced his hand.
Betraying his trust was a surefire way to provoke his wrath.
Oh.
During the siege, the Mongols suffered a setback when their camp was flooded.
Oh, no.
But this incident showcased Genghis Khan's adaptability.
Oh, okay.
He incorporated siege warfare techniques he learned from his enemy.
Oh, wow, so he was a quick study.
He was.
And ultimately brought the Western Shia to their knees.
Yeah.
Next on his list was the mighty Jin dynasty.
Right.
How did he approach this formidable opponent?
Well, Genghis Khan was a master strategist.
Okay.
He understood the Jin were internally divided and vulnerable,
Mm.
biding his time until the opportune moment to strike.
Wow.
And when he did, he was relentless.
It sounds like his reputation often preceded him.
He understood the power of psychological warfare.
Yeah.
Stories of his brutality, whether exaggerated or not,
Right.
often led cities to surrender without a fight,
Oh, wow.
minimizing bloodshed, which, surprisingly, he preferred.
So that's interesting. He didn't actually want to,
No.
cause more bloodshed than was
Yeah,
necessary.
he didn't.
By 1215, he had conquered the Jin capital, solidifying his control over northern China.
Exactly.
But this was just the beginning of his conquests.
Right.
And that brings us to the next chapter,
Yeah.
where his ambitions expanded even further.
Absolutely.
But we'll delve into that in part 2 of our deep dive.
Right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the life and legacy of Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Last time we left him at the height of his power in East Asia,
Right.
having conquered the Jin dynasty.
Right.
But his ambitions didn't stop there.
No, they didn't.
His gaze turned westward,
Yeah.
towards new horizons and new challenges.
Absolutely. And one figure
Yeah.
from his past reemerges in this westward expansion.
Okay.
Kushlug, the Naiman prince, who had fled west after his earlier defeat by Genghis Khan,
Right.
had been busy carving out his own empire in Central Asia, even taking over the Karakitai.
So Kushlug essentially became a thorn in Genghis Khan's side,
Exactly.
holding on to that grudge from their previous encounter.
Right, and Kushlug's rule
Yeah.
was marked by oppression,
Okay.
particularly against Buddhists in the region.
Right.
When Genghis Khan sent his brilliant general Jebi
Right.
to deal with the situation, he was welcomed as a liberator by many.
It's interesting how Genghis Khan managed to cultivate this image of a liberator
Yeah.
in some instances, especially after the brutal campaigns we discussed earlier.
Right. It speaks to his strategic acumen.
Yeah.
He understood the importance of appealing to different groups,
Right.
often emphasizing religious tolerance
Right.
as a way to gain support.
So very strategic.
Oh, yeah.
With Kushlug out of the picture, Genghis Khan's control extended across a vast swath of Central Asia,
Yeah.
including a key portion of the Silk Road.
Right.
This set the stage for one of the most significant conflicts of his reign,
Absolutely.
the clash with the Khwarezmian Empire.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a minor border skirmish.
No.
It was a confrontation between two powerful empires.
Right.
The Mongols against the Islamic Khwarezmian dynasty that controlled Persia and much of Central Asia.
Okay.
What were the factors that led to this conflict?
Well, it wasn't simply about land or resources.
Okay.
There was a personal element to it.
Mm,
Genghis Khan, as highly valued diplomacy and trade.
right.
He had sent a trade caravan and envoys to the Khwarezmian Shah Muhammad II,
Okay.
aiming to establish peaceful relations.
So an attempt to open a dialogue and foster trade?
Precisely, but Shah Muhammad II,
Yeah.
suspicious of the Mongols' intentions, had the envoys executed.
Oh, wow.
It was a grave miscalculation on his part,
Yeah.
underestimating both Genghis Khan's commitment to diplomacy and his resolve when provoked.
This execution was a direct affront to Genghis Khan's authority,
Absolutely.
and he was known for responding decisively to such challenges.
Oh, yeah. The subsequent Mongol invasion was swift and devastating.
Wow.
City after city fell to the Mongol forces.
Right.
Bukhara, Samarkand, even the wealthy city of Gurganj were targeted.
Wow.
Historical accounts, though potentially exaggerated,
Right.
describe widespread destruction and significant loss of life.
So this campaign in particular cemented Genghis Khan's reputation for ruthlessness.
It did.
However, some scholars argue that he was no more brutal than other conquerors of his time.
Right.
Is there any truth to that perspective?
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
It's true that warfare in that era was often brutal.
Right.
However, the scale and efficiency of the Mongol conquests under Genghis Khan were unprecedented,
Right.
which undoubtedly contributed to his fearsome reputation.
Within this larger conflict, there's a fascinating side story.
Yeah.
The Great Raid, led by Jebi and Subutai,
Right?
these two generals pursuing the fleeing Khwarezmian Shah,
Yeah.
embarked on what was essentially a 4-year odyssey of conquest.
Wow.
Could you tell us more about this incredible military feat?
Imagine this: two generals leading their forces on a journey
Yeah.
that took them around the Caspian Sea, through the Caucasus Mountains,
So,
encountering the Russians for the first time, and even sending a scouting party as far as Europe.
it was a remarkable display of military skill, endurance, and adaptability.
Absolutely.
They essentially circumnavigated a significant portion of the known world,
They did.
expanding the Mongols' understanding of geography and military tactics.
Right.
It truly highlights the incredible reach of Genghis Khan's influence, even during his lifetime.
It's mind-boggling when you think about the logistical challenges they overcame,
Yeah.
the diverse terrains and cultures they encountered.
Right?
The Great Raid was a testament to the strength and adaptability of the Mongol army.
By 1221, with the Khwarezmian Empire in ruins and Shah Muhammad II dead,
Right.
Genghis Khan was the undisputed master of Central Asia.
He was.
It seems like the perfect moment for him to consolidate his gains and enjoy the spoils of victory.
Yeah.
But that wasn't his style, was it?
Not at all. He decided to return to China
Ooh, wow.
to address unfinished business with the Western Shia, demonstrating his relentless commitment to securing his power base
Right.
and quelling any potential threats.
It seems even after achieving such remarkable conquests, he remained vigilant and driven. This final campaign, however, proved to be his last.
Yes, in 1227, while subduing the rebellious Western Shia, Genghis Khan died.
Wow.
The exact circumstances surrounding his death are shrouded in mystery, adding to the mystique that surrounds his persona.
It's almost fitting that the details of his death remain unclear,
Yeah,
adding another layer of intrigue to his already legendary story.
right.
What happened to the vast empire he built after his death?
Well, the Mongol Empire at its peak
Yeah.
was a vast and complex entity.
Right.
Genghis Khan's death left a massive power vacuum.
Yeah.
The question of succession was paramount.
Right.
He had several sons,
Yeah.
each with their own strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
and the future of the empire hung in the balance.
Wow. So a lot of uncertainty.
A lot of uncertainty.
But we'll delve into that fascinating chapter in part 3 of our deep dive.
We will.
We're back for the final part of our deep dive into Genghis Khan. We've covered his rise to power,
Right.
his incredible military achievements, and his often brutal conquests. Right. But, as we discussed, his death in 1227 left the future of his vast empire uncertain.
It did.
It's like the ultimate power struggle waiting to unfold.
It really was. Genghis Khan had several sons,
Yeah.
each with their own ambitions and supporters.
Right.
The question of who would inherit the mantle of leadership
Right.
was a complex one,
Yeah.
with the potential for conflict and instability.
There were rumors and speculation surrounding each of the sons, right?
There were.
Jochi, the eldest,
Yeah.
faced questions about his legitimacy,
Right.
creating tension with his father.
Yeah.
Then you have Chagatai,
Right.
known for his knowledge of law,
Right.
but also for his fiery temper,
Yeah.
which might not have been the ideal temperament for a ruler.
Exactly. And then there were Ogedei and Tului.
Right.
Each possessed unique qualities that could have made them suitable successors.
Okay.
Genghis Khan, recognizing the need for a leader who could unite the various factions within the empire,
Right.
ultimately chose Ogedei as his heir.
So he saw something in Urgedai that perhaps the other sons lacked.
He did.
What qualities made him the right choice?
Well, Urgedei was known for his ability to build consensus,
Oh.
his diplomatic skills, and his more measured temperament.
Right.
A contrast to his father's often ruthless approach.
Right.
Genghis Khan likely recognized that these qualities would be essential in maintaining the stability and cohesion of the empire,
Yeah.
especially during a period of transition.
It's fascinating how a leader known for his military prowess
Right.
could also exhibit such foresight and wisdom in planning for the future.
Yeah.
But even with a chosen successor, I imagine the transition wasn't without its challenges.
You're absolutely right. Tului, the youngest brother, was incredibly powerful and influential.
Oh, wow.
He served as regent after Genghis Khan's death,
Okay.
and there were undoubtedly whispers that he might challenge Urgedai's claim to the throne.
Wow.
It was a delicate and potentially volatile situation.
It's like a real-life historical drama,
It is.
filled with intrigue and power struggles.
Right.
Did Tului ultimately respect his father's wishes?
He did, despite his own ambitions.
So,
Tului ultimately honored Genghis Khan's decision
wow.
and supported Egedei's claim. In 1229, the Kurultai,
Right.
the Grand Assembly of Mongol leaders, formally proclaimed Egedei as the new Great Khan.
So the empire continued under new leadership.
It did.
But as we know, it eventually fragmented into different khanates,
Right.
each ruled by Genghis Khan's descendants.
Right.
Given the complex and often brutal nature of his conquests,
Yeah.
how should we view Genghis Khan's legacy?
It's a question that historians continue to debate.
Right.
There's no denying the brutality and destruction that accompanied his rise to power.
Right.
Entire cities were razed and millions perished during his campaigns.
It's a dark side of his story that can't be ignored.
However, he was also a brilliant military strategist.
Right.
And a charismatic leader who unified the Mongol tribes,
Yeah.
creating a powerful force that reshaped the political landscape of Eurasia.
Mm.
He established a legal code, the Yasa.
Okay. Which promoted a sense of order and justice within the empire.
Right?
He encouraged religious tolerance and fostered trade along the Silk Road, leading to an unprecedented exchange of ideas and goods between East and West.
So a complex figure who brought both progress and destruction.
Precisely his story reminds us that history is rarely black and white.
Right.
Genghis Khan was a product of his time.
Yeah.
But he was also a visionary who left an indelible mark on the world.
Right.
A mark that continues to fascinate and challenge us centuries later.
We've explored his early life, his rise to power, his military genius, and the impact of his conquests.
Right.
But it's clear that there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, yeah.
His story prompts us to delve deeper, to question assumptions.
Absolutely.
And to grapple with the complexities of history.
As we conclude this deep dive into the life and legacy of Genghis Khan,
Right.
I'd leave you with this thought. How much of his success was due to his own personality and leadership?
Versus the specific historical circumstances he found himself in.
Right.
Could another figure have achieved similar results? Or was he truly a unique force of history?
It's a question worth pondering.
It is.
And that's the beauty of exploring history.
Yeah.
It challenges us to think critically, to ask difficult questions.
Right.
And to appreciate the multifaceted nature of the past.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.